Chelsea 1, Sunderland 2. And we are brought crashing back down from our good run of form to be reminded that we still can't beat a low block. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sink, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And today, like I said, man, that means we are brought crashing right back down from what could have been a run of 5 games on the line, and we couldn't get it over the line, right? So, first thing I've got to say, man, is absolutely props to Sunderland. For me, this was hugely about how well Sunderland kept us out and kept us at arm's length. But at the same time, our absolutely lacking inability to cut through a low block and to see out a game with grit is just really, really hurting us, man. But guys, before we get into it, if you are enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. So this game, man, the first 20 minutes, this game pulled me all over the place emotionally. The first 20 minutes of this game, I was like, oh, mate, we're on for something proper here. And not even just because Chelsea were looking really good for the most part in the first 20 minutes. Sunderland were really going for it as well. Both teams seemed to change their tactics throughout the game, and the game evolved as a result of it. So we came out sprinting, man. We came out absolutely sprinting. Mark Yu, literally from the kickoff, which was Sunderland kicked it back to their goalkeeper, and Mark Yu ran straight to the goalkeeper straight away. And I was like, yes, that's why I like seeing Mark Yu there, because one of these days, well, I say one of these days if he keeps getting chances, but that kind of thing can put pressure on people, can cause mistakes, and can get you an early goal. Ultimately, it didn't come down to Mark Yu to get us that early goal. That honour was of Alejandro Garnacho, who got his first goal in a Chelsea shirt, and it was good, man. It was good. Pedro Neto, it was kind of poor defending from Sunderland because there was so much space, but Pedro Neto threaded this pass straight through to Garnacho, and he just took it from the left side straight up to the goal and popped one in calmly and with precision, and he didn't put too much on it or not enough. It was perfect. It went through the keeper's legs, so the keeper probably could have done better for it, but at the same time, it was cool, we're literally 4.5 minutes into the game and we've scored. Wicked. And we just carried on looking good from there, man, honestly. For the first 10, 15 minutes especially, we were just going, push, and I was like, wicked. This could be, and I predicted a 2-1 to us for this game, and I was starting to think, oh, man, this could be another 5 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? If we can keep this up. Ultimately, we couldn't keep it up. And the way that Sunderland got their first goal was kind of annoying. It was via a long throw, which this is not the first time this season that we have, shown that we're not exactly really good at dealing with. So a long throw from Sunderland, about 20, 25 minutes in, gets into the box, lots of players all muddled together, a little bit disorganised, a little bit chaotic, and the ball finds the back of the net. Isador scores the goal. So we're 1-1. Okay, it's a game again. And I was thinking, okay, so maybe things are going to heat up. That's absolutely not what happened at all. Sunderland took that opportunity to then basically sit back for the majority of the rest of the game. And it was really, really not difficult to watch. We've had stodgier games, don't get me wrong. But what was really made evident was our lack of attacking prowess when it comes to dealing with really defensive teams, right? We are good at playing a team that opens up, as was shown by in the first 5 minutes, we got that goal. Sunderland were not low blocking in the first 5 minutes. They were coming at us. But ultimately, as soon as Sunderland were like, right, cool, got a goal. I mean, Sunderland would have been reasonably happy with a draw out of this game because we were their toughest Premier League fixture so far. We were the strongest opposition that they'd come up against in the Prem, really, in the grand scheme of things. And you would have thought they'd probably have been happy with that point. So what we got for the next, 50 minutes was Chelsea having all of the possession, and the attacking was awful, man. Enzo Fernandez, mate, honestly, shooting into the stands at the stadium, literally just kept missing, crosses just going to absolutely no one. We looked dangerous from corners and stuff a few times at the beginning, but man, honestly, Sunderland just really, 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 really stuck so many men behind the ball, and like I say, it just really highlighted how not equipped we are to deal with that. I have to mention this as well, man. The thing with João Pedro starting to get a little bit worrying. To come into the Club World Cup like he did and just bang him away, completely sold me. And I was like, this guy could be it. And what we've seen from João Pedro now in the last 10 games, bar a half decent performance when he dropped into the 10 the last time, is he just is struggling to get involved in these games, man. And is it one of those things where João Pedro is only good with a Cole Palmer or a Liam Delap on the pitch around him or something? I don't know. But if that is the case, that's dangerous. Do you know what I mean? We shouldn't have to need these other players in order for João Pedro to do well. But João Pedro started in the 10, which is myself and lots of other Chelsea commentators. We all called for it. We were like, Mark, you up top, João Pedro in the 10 just makes sense. But again, man, like, he just really struggled to get involved in this game. He wasn't playmaking particularly well. He wasn't really getting any particularly good shots on target. Honestly, our XG for this game was 0.97. And if you're not like a stats or an XG person, we had like 16 shots. Do you know what I mean? And to say that our XG was 0.97 and we scored 1 goal, that shows you that 15 of those goals were basically never going to go in. 15 of those shots, sorry, we literally had like 0 chance of going in. So, yeah, and like I say, you know, to go back to Sunderland a bit, they absolutely deserved it, man. And they read the game and read the feeling in the game a lot better than we did, because all of a sudden, in the last 10, 15 minutes, including extra time, there were 6 minutes of extra time, Sunderland felt that there was something available. So all of a sudden, they started attacking again. Do you know what I mean? And we looked a little bit lethargic, a little bit weak, and we ended up conceding a silly goal, you know, and it was just too late to do anything about it, really, man. I was kind of surprised at the commentators, because if Chelsea would have scored at that point, the commentators clearly would have been going, and that's it, Chelsea are going to win this game. But after Sunderland scored right at the end of 2-1, the commentators were like, and it looks like Sunderland might walk away with this with 3 points. And I was like, mate, there's like 4 minutes left to play. Do you know what I mean? We've struggled for the last 70 minutes to look like we can get a decent shot on goal, and Sunderland have just put one away. So chance, as soon as that goal went in, I was like, if we'd have come out of this game with a draw, I'd have been a bit miffed, but I'd have been like, okay, Sunderland put up a good fight. But to lose this game, man, it shows the immaturity again. And this is a real shame, isn't it? Because we've just come off such a wicked run of form, and we beat Liverpool, and we've got 2 wins in the Champions League. And do you know what I mean? We obviously demolished Nottingham Forest with set pieces and good technical work. And we just didn't have an answer to Sunderland's low block. So this is just a bit of an issue going forward, isn't it, man? And it's in games like today that you really miss Cole Palmer. Do you know what I mean? It's like, not necessarily saying we definitely will win the game if we'd have had Cole Palmer, but if we'd have had Cole Palmer, he is the kind of player that can pull out a moment of magic and unlock this kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? That low block. I'm not saying that we always beat low blocks when we've got Cole Palmer in the team, but with Cole Palmer on the pitch, everyone else around him gets a little bit better, and, you know, maybe there could have been something there. So there were some really positive performances today. It's not all just really negative, despite it being a loss. Josh Achiampong was a beast today. He was so good, and he just looks like he's ready to be in the team, man. He's still pretty young, do you know what I mean? 19 going on 20, but at the same time, there was maybe one wobble today where he had like one little moment, but you kind of expect that from 19-year-old. Other than that, he just looks like he's ready to be in the team for me. Do you know what I mean? Couple of, you know, Mark Cucurella played pretty well and got into lots of really good positions, but was just never found in the right way. And Mark Cucurella's position in particular was very, very weird today. He was basically shadow striker. Do you know what I mean? It was crazy, man. Obviously, like, I was one off in my starting 11. I predicted that we might start Esteval instead of Garnacho, but it happened to be Garnacho. So 10 out of 11 wasn't bad. But what I didn't predict is that I did predict in my match preview that Cucurella was going to like be a bit more aggressive and a bit more attacking. But it was literally like he was playing as a second front man alongside Mark Yu. And he just kept finding himself really, really, really high up the pitch. And often he was like, it was like Garnacho that was holding the width, for instance, and then Mark Cucurella would come inside and find himself in that almost like second shadow striker spot kind of thing. A little bit nuts, but again, nothing was made of it. Do you know what I mean? Nothing was made of it. So ultimately, you know, a bit disappointing, bit of a letdown. Like I say, Enzo Fernandez, bit rubbish today. Moises Caicedo was good defensive work today. Do you know what I mean? Wasn't quite able to unlock those amazing shots. You know, he tried once or twice, I think, but, you know, didn't manage to get that away. Garnacho was the first one to be taken off, which I actually found a little bit strange, because just based on how the game looked and the fact that Garnacho had scored our first goal, Garnacho made way for Esteval, where I actually, personally, I'd have been like, mate, get João Pedro off, man, get João Pedro off. Garnacho's definitely looked more involved in this game than João Pedro has, but João Pedro stayed on and Esteval Willian came on. A few other subs were made, but ultimately nothing was good enough for us to get that second goal, right, to get that second goal. And like I say, man, it was about quality today, because we had lots of shots, we had lots of possession, but it came down to the killer pass, and the final moment came down to things like the product and decision making and that final ball, and we just didn't have it, man. We just didn't have it. So yeah, really strange game, man. Really strange game, because like I say, for that first 20 minutes, I was like, mate, we might be onto a big one here. But Sunderland reorganised themselves very, very, very quickly. And, you know, got to give them props, man. Like, in my Premier League prediction for this season, I had Sunderland as going down. A large reason of that is because they bought so many players, and it's so difficult to organise so many players. Do you know what I mean? But not only are Sunderland staying up, like, they're in second right now. That can change. Obviously, this video is going to come out before the Liverpool game and the Man U game and whatever later. But Man U won't make a difference. But either way, Sunderland are literally second in the Premier League right now. So there's real talk, there's facts, there's Chelsea just lost to Sunderland at home, and, you know, we allowed them to score a last-minute goal, which turned the tide of the game. But the nuance of the situation is Sunderland are having a really good season, man. So it was going to be a tough game. I predicted a tough game just based on the fact that going into this game, we were all on the same points. Now Sunderland are second in the Premier League for what must be the first time in a very, very long time, even when they were in the Prem before. And they are performing, like, largely much, much better than they did last time they were in the Premier League for quite a long time. So, like I say, I've got to give it to Sunderland, man. It's not to take away anything from Sunderland at all. They definitely put in a good performance. But it's just really disappointing, isn't it? It's really disappointing to have all of these players. Like, even when Esteval came on, man, he just struggled. Do you know what I mean? Every single time he got the ball, they had like 2 men, 3 men on him, and they weren't pressing. Do you know what I mean? They weren't pressing at all. They were more than happy to let us have the ball. We saw a lot of, you know, Reece James to Chalobah to Achiampong to Caicedo back to Achiampong, and do you know what I mean? A lot of recycling of possession in the centre of the pitch, but from our centre-backs. Chalobah had like a shot on goal at one point because he was getting frustrated by it all, and it was a good shot, man. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, just got tipped over the bar. Tosin came on later. Again, you know, Tosin, Santos, Tyreek George went up front again, and no, we weren't able to bring anyone on who looked like they could make a difference. The only difference maker we brought on was Esteval Willian, and it's so much pressure to say to an 18-year-old, make the difference in this game. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of got to be looked at, hasn't it? At the end of the day, having Liam Delap back soon will be very, very good. I don't expect to see him playing every single game. Do you know what I mean? We're definitely going to have to be careful with him. That's absolutely sure. But, you know, I'm starting to think that João Pedro needs a little spell out of the team, man. I'm not going to lie to you. And obviously we can't do that yet. We absolutely can't do that because we haven't got the players to be able to replace him. So based on where we are right now, even massively out of form, João Pedro is still a better bet than, you know, some of the other players that we've got. But when Liam Delap's there, we've got the likes of Buenanotte who look okay. We've got the likes of Esteval Willian who really wants to play that 10 position. You've got the likes of Enzo Fernandez who can play there as well, with Lavia supporting Caicedo in the midfield. And all of a sudden, João Pedro isn't just a guaranteed start. Do you know what I mean? And for me, that's how it feels at the moment. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments about it. Am I being too harsh on João Pedro? But it's been 10 games now across all competitions, and João Pedro is not putting the numbers in, man. Do you know what I mean? He's not putting any numbers in, and not only that, he very rarely looks like he's finding his footing in the game either. So that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap the video up there. A real shame about that one, but we move, right? We move. That's the really big thing. And next up, we've got Wolves in the League Cup, and that I expect a lot of rotation again, but ultimately that is a must-win game. Do you know what I mean? We absolutely have to win that game, and I think we will. Wolves are bottom of the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? They are not doing very well at all this season. So, you know, this would be a good chance. I would expect the Wolves game to be easier than the Ajax game was, and I would expect a similarly rotated team to play against Wolves as we saw against Ajax. So there we go. Right, guys, tonight, a little bit earlier, I will be streaming on the Blue Lounge. We are starting to do match days. So we normally used to do just Sundays, but we're going to experiment with doing match days. And we're starting a little bit earlier at 9 o'clock. So come and join me, Mo, Nizai on Blue Clouds Media, Kai from Behind the Dugouts, maybe Lewis from FFB, and maybe Sadiq from Worldwide Chelsea if they find themselves available. I really hope so. It'd be really interesting to see what the rest of the guys have got to say about this game tonight. I am deflated about it. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not absolutely screwing, because we have just come off the back of a run of 4 good games that we've won. We are getting players back from injury, and the team is starting to rebuild itself. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not looking at this like crisis or anything like that. At the end of the day, we lost. We shouldn't have lost, man. We shouldn't have lost. That's absolutely true. But I always expected a tough game from Sunderland. It was just tougher than I thought it was going to be. So, guys, that is it. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for sticking around until the end of the video if you did. And I will catch you all very, very soon, if not tonight, on the Blue Lounge. Take it easy. Peace.